Let's embark on a journey where we unravel one of the most enigmatic concepts in psychology, the shadow. Imagine for a moment the intricate dynamics involved in every personal relationship you have. How much of it, do you think, is governed by parts of yourself that you can't even see? Welcome to the domain of the shadow. The term shadow, as Carl Jung taught us, is not some mystical phenomenon. It is a fundamental part of our psyche. According to Jung's analytical psychology, developed during the burgeoning period of the early 20th century, the shadow represents those unconscious parts of our mind which remain hidden from our conscious awareness. Yes, we're talking about psychological types, Chapter X. Here, the shadow is defined as the unseen forces, the internal thoughts and behaviors that operate beneath the surface of our waking consciousness. Let's pause to consider this operational definition. Imagine your psyche as an iceberg floating in a vast ocean. The visible part represents your conscious self, the way you present to the world. But lurking beneath is the shadow, massive and largely submerged, profoundly influencing the ways you interact with others. Your relationship troubles might actually be less about them and more about the shadow within you that you refuse to acknowledge. How do these shadow elements manifest? Let's draw some connections. Have you ever found yourself blaming your partner for being selfish, only to later realize your own needs and desires were at the core of the argument? This is your shadow at work. Jung reminds us, why do we blame our partners for things we can't acknowledge in ourselves? It's not about externalizing blame, but understanding how these internal, unconscious elements shape dynamics. In the tension and conflict often seen in relationships, the shadow's power is like that of a social media filter, subtly reshaping our interactions and hiding our flaws from ourselves. Ignoring our shadow can distort relational balances and escalate conflicts, often leaving us puzzled as to why harmony eludes us. The shadow is indeed a psychological iceberg, mostly hidden yet incredibly powerful. So as we peel back the layers of our unconscious and peek into this underlying darkness, we set the stage to explore more specific scenarios in the next segment, how these shadows appear in your daily relational exchanges. Prepare to confront your hidden self head-on. Imagine you have a toolkit designed for self-awareness. But there's a piece missing. A crucial tool, perhaps, one that can reveal truths hidden even from yourself. Without it, your efforts to understand your own thoughts and emotions can never be complete. This missing element is the mirror to your shadow. Your shadow, as Carl Jung proposed, is the reservoir of all the parts of your personality that you've renegaded into the distant corners of your psyche. These are the aspects that you're embarrassed by or have been taught to push away. However, recognizing and integrating these shadows is not about mounting blame or dwelling on past mistakes. Instead, it's about liberation. It's about acceptance. How can integrating the shadow enhance personal growth and relational harmony? The first step is seeing the shadow for what it is. This means acknowledging those repressed thoughts and inclinations without judgment. When you look in this proverbial mirror, what do you see? You might find jealousy, anger, or even prejudice lurking, traits that have deterred you from forming deeper connections. The beauty of shadow work lies in its ability to transform these unwelcome elements into strengths. Think of this process as emotional decluttering, a clearing of mental and emotional space for genuine connection. Jung referred to this in his work, especially in Ion, Researches into the Phenomenology of the Self, stressing that acknowledging these parts makes us more whole and authentic. So, refrain from the urge to excavate for blame, but instead liberate through acceptance. We can use practical exercises to initiate this integration. Let's consider an easy method. Write down instances when you feel a strong emotion like irritation or resentment. What triggered these feelings? Accept them as a part of your shadow and ask, how can I transform them into personal empowerment? Another approach is meditation with a twist. Visualize a dialogue between your outwardly perceived self and these hidden elements. This can foster understanding and change how you relate to yourself and others. This process of shadow integration brings tangible benefits. Personal empowerment is a result of acknowledging and restoring these fragmented pieces of your identity into a cohesive whole. This, in turn, can lead to remarkable transformations in relationships. By creating space for genuine emotional exchange, you permit a depth of intimacy that was previously unattainable. If you can't see your shadow, how do you hope to enlighten your path? If we view this as merely updating our smartphone's operating system for optimal performance, the parallels are striking. Old programs, outdated ways of thinking, discarded by integrating new insights. Conclude your exploration by carving out moments in this journey to periodically reflect and refine. And remember, started with what you have, your very self. Transition to becoming resilient by knowing who you are, shadows and all. Here lies not just harmony in relationships, but in you as an individual.